The story comes to us from the Inquirer.com. The city of Philadelphia will pay $2 million to 29-year-old Rickia Young, the mother who was pulled from her SUV during civil unrest last October and beaten by police, then separated from her toddler, a scene captured on video and shared widely on social media. Remember, that was the one where they had the little baby and, oh, this poor little baby run around the street. But they actually had pulled it from a car seat. It was running around the street and our officer saved it. Oh, they pulled it from a car seat. That one.
During civil unrest following the deadly police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. in West Philly, Rickia Young was just driving with her 2-year-old son and 16-year-old nephew at the time. She tried to get through the chaos that was unfolding there in the street, but her SUV got caught in the middle. That's when her lawyers say responding police yanked Young and her nephew from the vehicle and beat them. Young was arrested and released the next morning. Now, almost a year later, police tell us 2 officers have been fired as a result of this incident, and 14 others are awaiting disciplinary hearings. Meantime, Young says her son is still traumatized by what police did that day.
Yeah, but we're supposed to trust the police when they say something. The city said Monday that it had reached the agreement of $2 million after negotiations with lawyers for Rickia Young, a North Philadelphia home health care aide, who the video showed trying to drive through the mayhem of a protest, and then was swarmed by officers who bashed in her windows. Police Commissioner, your favorite, Danielle Outlaw, said in a statement that instead of fighting crime and the fear of crime, some of the officers on the scene created an environment that terrorized Rickia Young, her family, and other members of the public. Now, Mayor Jim Kinney called the officers' actions absolutely appalling and was quoted as saying in a statement, the terrible incident, which should have never happened to anyone, only further strained the relationship between the police department and our communities. Well, that's what they do. They further that gap.
Violently yanked Ms. Young and her nephew from the vehicle and physically beat her and him.
Aggravated assault, recklessly endangering another person, simple assault. This was nothing more than an attack that would be perpetrated by any random street thug.
I hope that the officers responsible will never have the chance to do something like this to another person.
Young's attorneys called on District Attorney Larry Krasner to file criminal charges against the officers involved. Krasner said Monday he couldn't confirm a criminal investigation. He said that in general, investigating police behavior during chaotic incidents presents a challenge in terms of locating body-worn cameras for the individuals involved. Boo-hoo, bully on you. Go find the footage and do your jobs. He said when you have a situation that is somewhat fluid on the street, it is more difficult to reconstruct exactly what officer was where and when. Well, hold the chief accountable. Although it looks like Danielle Outlaw took some action. She fired a couple and she's looking to discipline some others. A police department spokesperson said Sergeant David Chisholm, a 13-year veteran who worked in the 26th Police District, was fired for violating departmental policies, including inappropriate communications or conduct while on duty, use of force, and lying or attempting to deceive during a departmental investigation. Well, that's what he's trained to do. Police officer Darren Cardos, a 7-year veteran who worked in the 19th Police District, was fired for excessive use of force and physical abuse with a baton. That's his favorite toy. A spokesperson for the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 5, the union that represents Philly police officers, did not respond to a request for comment. Well, that's weird because normally the FOP spokesperson, they're out there in the forefront cursing people. The incident happened just before 2 a.m. on October 27th, hours after 2 police officers fatally shot Walter Wallace Jr., 27-year-old black man who relatives said was experiencing a mental health crisis that afternoon and lunged toward police while wielding a knife. Protests erupted within hours, and some in West Philadelphia began burglarizing stores and vandalizing police vehicles. While dozens of officers were hurt, including one who was hospitalized after someone struck her with a pickup truck, Young said she went to West Philadelphia to pick up her friend's teenage son, whom she refers to as her nephew. Said while driving down Chestnut Street towards 52nd Street, she encountered agitators who were throwing debris at the police. She tried to make a U-turn, and when about 24 police officers, some with shields, circled her vehicle and demanded she get out.
And take a look at this. You may remember this photo as well. It went viral following this incident, showing a police officer holding Young's child. The picture was posted by the National Fraternal Order of Police, and the caption claimed that Young's son was found by officers wandering around barefoot, lost in an area of complete lawlessness. Now, that post has since been deleted, but Young is now suing the NFOP. Her lawyers are also asking the district attorney to file charges against every officer that was involved that day. Eyewitness News has reached out to the district attorney's office. They would not confirm or comment on any potential criminal investigation. We'll keep you up to date.
But $2 million is going to be footed by the taxpayers because the cops couldn't hold their temper. You say, well, there's a lot going on. They didn't know what. She was doing a U-turn. All they had to do was wave her car through. But the Billy Badasses, they had to take it out on somebody. Hey, let's get this one. What do you all think? Let me know.